Confused about all the PRC calibers? Here's the skinny. Hornady made the PRCs just to piss off the Creedmoor guys. Okay, not really. But the original 6.5 PRC was designed for the same task, same role as 6.5 Creedmoor. They are designed to fill the same niche. PRC just does it a little better. Just like 6.5 Creedmoor was doing it a little better than the previous rounds for the same role. Excellent inherent accuracy, meaning the rounds, the cases and everything were designed to be as accurate consistently as possible. Not necessarily as accurate as physically possible, but meaning that it was easy to get good accuracy. And then a large selection of bullets available in those calibers to make it easier for people to find one in their, that makes their gun happy. So I'm not going to get into the weeds. We're not going to get too far down into this, but let's lay out the basics. PRC stands for Precision Rifle Cartridge. Pretty simple, right? Well, it's a direct link to PRS, which is Precision Rifle Series, or shooting, if you're not at one of the station events. And it's a competitive sport focused on practical accuracy and applied ballistics. You're not worried about absolute precision. This isn't bench rest shooting. This isn't, it isn't ELD. You need to have enough accuracy, but it's as much how well can you shoot your rifle under non-ideal conditions. So a round meant for PRS has to be fast, within the velocity limits of the sport, relatively easy to shoot well, and practical, meaning it's got enough energy to do knockdown targets, that it shoots flat enough over extended distances that somebody doesn't have to calculate the exact adjustment for every distance. So a lot of times people get wrapped up in, it's not better than my XYZ. And it's like, well, it's not supposed to be. Your XYZ is not built for this game. So it gets a little squirrely after that because, well, they expanded the family into other areas. But the main thing for the PRC rounds, you're maximizing performance in a certain area. You are using a high BC with the maximum allowed velocity for the sport, or as close to it as they could get for a given caliber, and be reasonably practical for a variety of rifles, meaning it isn't some caliber or size that is hard for companies to manufacture rifles in. This is why 6.5 Creedmoor used the 308 case head. The whole family of PRC rounds is based off the 375 Ruger case, just to make life easy for people. It's a nice, easy industry standard. The bolt face is a standard Magnum size, not as convenient as a large size, but manufacturers already have it. They didn't have to come up with something new, right? And then more importantly, it head spaces off the shoulder, not some rim, not, belted Magnum kind of setup. That's improving your potential realistic accuracy and simplifying case production. It also means that when you start reusing cases multiple times, you can tailor it to your gun very precisely. That's very difficult to do with a belted Magnum case, where you're less worried about perfect accuracy and you're more worried about, does it always work? These are not super high pressure rounds. They are pushing the envelope of science for this kind of stuff a little bit, but not to the limits. What they are is they're fine tuning existing things. They're going, hey, somebody's done this, somebody's done this, somebody's done this, and we want a piece of that, piece of that, piece of that. Put it together for a particular role. Essentially, the 3 PRC calibers are steps in a ladder from relatively mild to powerhouse. And starting at the top, 300 PRC is directly competing with 300 Win Mag. and higher BC, heavier bullets, reduced free bore. I've discussed this before. These modern rounds, whether we're talking Creedmoor, PRC, any of the other ones, they are better than the old ones. They are doing the same jobs that we have been doing for years with the other rounds and improving on it. And it just is. It is the way it goes. They aren't doing a different job. They are doing jobs that people have been doing for a while. And the engineers said, well, we now know this is a job and this is exactly how people do it. We can tailor, we can optimize the round for that task. When you look at the cold hard facts, 300 Win Mag is not as good as 300 PRC. I could not come up with an area where I'm like, oh yeah, it's superior on paper. Now, is it superior in the sense that there is a large base of existing rifles? Is 300 PRC superior enough that if you are not already buying a new rifle, you should switch? I don't think so. If you don't make your living doing this and you are not absolutely in the market for a new gun, whatever. I don't think that you're hurting yourself. You know, you're compromising by having a 300 Win Mag instead of a 300 PRC. The animal's not going to care. I'm not going to get into the military applications or the police applications, but just be aware 300 PRC is being used in that environment as a very effective counter sniper kind of round. What about the other two? Because the other two are probably going to sell a lot more rifles. The 6.5 is the one that started this, and it's a basic hunting round. If you're not using it for PRS, it's a basic hunting round, good competition cartridge, fast, flat shooting, more than powerful enough for deer and below. Easy selection of bullets. It's essentially everything that a 6.5 Creedmoor is, but a little better, with one big exception in my book. And again, I've talked about this repeatedly. It doesn't fit in a 308 size rifle or magazine. I look at that. If you are looking for mass adoption in the general market, that is critical. It doesn't do it. On the other hand, let's be fair, it was not designed to be a mass market round. PRC is in the name. It's designed for a particular niche role. So the non-compatibility is a major non-trivial kind of hurdle for somebody just looking for a replacement for a 308. I wouldn't do it. I would stick with the 308. Maybe you do a 6.5 Creedmoor if you really want a 6.5, but I don't think that 6.5 PRC is that general purpose round. The 7mm is kind of that round. You're a long action round with a Magnum case head. But that's an industry standard thing. That's a known thing. Magazines are not going to be as convenient as, say, a short action, a 308 round, but you've already sacrificed that. Once you went to the large action and once you stepped up to this level of power, the 7mm is faster than 6.5, higher BC, significantly more energy. We're talking an elk, moose, polar bear, whatever round. Like this is, if you're hunting, it's tough to come up with something that you can't hunt with the 7mm version of this. Now, you're into a long action. You are into a round that is going to be very expensive. It is almost unobtainium, by the way. The other two are available. They're expensive, but they're available. 7mm, $450 a round, and I only found 2 places that had it. But it is the hunting round. When it becomes available for ammo, I think that a lot of guys that are looking for a new primary big game hunting rifle are going to be very happy. Again, if you already have something that fills this niche, but if you routinely hunt out west at longer ranges, mountain to mountain, you want the maximum ballistic performance at those distances without going to something truly astronomically big, I think that's the round. Now, the Remington mag is the equivalent round, right? It's the historical version of this. It's not even in the same ballpark. It's just not. They have improved it in every way. And once again, if you already own the 7 Rem mag and you are happy with it, I'm not sure there's any reason to switch unless you look at the benefits of the PRC and go, I really want that and I'm willing to spend the money. If you're just looking at it and going, well, do I need the new one? No. So quite simply, the story of PRC is newer, better, faster. I mean, that's what it is. It's newer, it's better, and it's faster than whatever you were competing against. Now, depending on the round you pick, it may not be faster, but it might maintain that power, that velocity longer. That's the big thing, is that as that range gets out there, you're maintaining velocity. So you can be a traditionalist if you want. The rounds certainly have done the job for decades. These are not meant to be oh my God, they're the latest and greatest and you have to have it. They're meant to be taking traditional choices, traditional roles, and improving on them without introducing significant negatives. These are not going to be mass adoption kind of rounds. These are not going to be replacing 308 or 223 or anything like that. You're not going to see these being sold in massive volumes. But they aren't trying to. I would be willing to bet that in 5 or 6 years, there will be new ones from Hornady. PRC2 or PRCI for improved. They are just Hornady introducing rounds that take traditional roles and improve on them in certain ways. So, take care, have fun, stay safe, keep shooting.